Welcome back to the iQFOiL European Championships here in the wonderful Silvaplana in Switzerland. I'm joined in the box with all-time legend Aaron McIntosh, and we're going to talk you through today's racing. It is, of course, the penultimate day of racing at this first ever iQFOiL European Championships, and it is already getting pretty exciting. What have we done today, Aaron? We've had a couple of races in the men to finish with qualifying, and we've been through 3 races, I think, in the women. But we still see the top guys who are at the top in the slalom. We're doing course racing today. They're still in the front.
Exactly that. You know, the same guys are winning. Slalom, course racing. Yesterday's slalom racing. Great introduction to slalom racing for Vanora 6 sailors. The PWA sailors have shown their strength there. They've come out of the bag out this morning and thrown it down again. So the guys at the top, our PWA guys, again, exciting. The format's exciting. Slalom yesterday, course racing today. We've finished the qualification right now. Now we're going to split the gold and silver fleet for this afternoon. This is where the real game starts.
Yeah, this is where it goes down, and we're going to explain to you a little bit how it's going to work, because this is a totally different format to what I've ever seen before. It has been tried out, but it looks like this is going to be it. So what we've done, we've had the qualifying series, they're now going through the results. We're going to have a little bit of a delay before the start, but they're going through the results, and the top half of the fleet will become the gold fleet, second half of the fleet will become the silver fleet. Now obviously you want to be in the gold fleet if you're going to go for a medal, but then we will have the medal race. Now the medal race for quite a few years now has been a double points race where the top 10 riders at the end of the event, you know, they're given by the end of tomorrow there'll be top 10 riders, and they will go into a one race format where the points are worth double. So you do get a better chance. If you do well in that medal race, there's a good chance you could win. But as we've seen before, where this man has trained him, Dorian van Nistelrooy, in the Olympics, 2 Olympics in a row, he pretty much won without even sailing the medal race. So that kind of defeated the object of having this crazy medal race where the cameras would be focused on the winner of that race should maybe be the medalist. So now they've had to look at a new format. So maybe Aaron, you can tell me what we're going to do at this competition, because it's not a guarantee that this will be the competition. It's almost an experiment.
No, windsurfing's played and yacht racing's played a lot with formats, and we always tend to go back with the old. To get the medal race format in, it was single points in 2008, and 2012 was double points. So 2016 double points, and the idea is that we had a medal race and we decided the medals at the finish. We ruined that idea. That's fine if you can win before the last day and you can do it, get away with it. Good job Dorian. But right now we're looking at the end of the qualification, end of the finals. So now we're going to be Gold Fleet finals. We're going to race this afternoon. There is talk of the marathon tomorrow morning, and then the top 12 will go into what we call a Super Sunday. Well, it's not going to be Sunday tomorrow.
Big Wednesday.
Big Wednesday, like it. Big Wednesday, medal race final. What's going to happen? The top 12 are going to go together. They're going to race 3 races. And after the first race, we're going to cut the bottom 4.
Well, we have to make something clear. The top 12 after the marathon yesterday will go into this Big Wednesday super final, basically, and they will all start on 0 points.
That's exactly it.
No one will have an advantage. You just need to be in that top 12. And in the men we're talking here, and the women.
That's quite exciting. It hasn't been done before. So we discard the racing that's, even in front of us. Now we're fighting for the top 12. Once we've established the top 12, we're going to fight for the medals.
Okay.
Start with 12, 1 race. Drop 4, we're in 8. We're going to drop another 4, and then we're going to go take a winners takes all 4-man final.
Okay.
I know, right?
So you will not know who is going to win the medals of this first iQFOiL European Championships until the last race, and it will be first who crosses the line wins. It's direct refereeing, so there'll be no protest, there'll be nothing like that. It will genuinely be whoever wins that race will get the gold, second silver, third bronze, and there'll be 1 wooden spoon, I guess. Is that what it's called?
Wooden spoon, leather medal, chocolate medal. But that's life, and that makes the format so much more exciting. It's not over till it's over, and Well, we're going to be sitting on the edge of our seats till the end. We're not going to know. We're not going to be playing with points. It's going to be easy to understand, easy to follow, and it's going to be exciting. I know the guys are pumped. I know the energy in the boat park before that. There's 12 people that realise they can be the winner. They can be the European champion. Should this be the Olympic format? I'm not 100% sure. There's variations of this format. The Super Sunday sort of style of format. The GP50 series has done a similar sort of thing. They do double points, Super Sunday series, 2-day regattas. What we've done is we've looked at all the high performance yachting classes. We've looked at what's fair for the sailors, what's engaging for the media, and what's engaging for the fans, and we're working on something that's pretty special. You know, we're going to take this sport and we're going to kick it into the 21st century and hopefully deliver something pretty special. The equipment works, the sailors are pretty damn amazing. Let's see.
I mean, the one thing is for sure, you can't get lucky and win a medal. It doesn't work like that, you know. There will be, whoever wins that medal will be a solid sailor who has managed to get through all of that. And finally, I mean, that will be some achievement, and it is going to come down to pressure. You know, it's going to come down to the conditions on the day, as all sailing does. You know, you look at a regatta, it can be a windy regatta. It could be a light wind regatta. You can go to Pozo and think you're going to get high winds, and you get light winds. So that is it. It's just going to come down to that day. The forecast is actually pretty solid. We've got probably 20 plus knots at the moment on the course, and it's looking very similar, if not a bit windier maybe tomorrow.
It's going to be exciting, and you know, it's a new class, it's new equipment. We've got some experienced guys, we've got a few inexperienced guys. We've got a mix of the two classes, the Olympic style and the PWA style, and well, that's what we're so pumped about. That's what the beauty of this windfoiling class is, and that's what the beauty of the iQFOiL class is. It's brought the best of the best together across all windsurfing, and I suppose that's the great thing about windfoiling right now. It's not just an Olympic sport, it's a class for everybody.
For sure. I mean, if you've seen some of the, obviously the visuals coming from this week so far, and even the Formula Foil, obviously very similar class, just not as one design, but it has been amazing. And I think looking at the viewage, if that's even a word, and the people tuning in this week, they have absolutely been loving it, and it is mixing the two worlds, you know, PWA and the you know, RSX, which is obviously the old Olympic class, and this iQFOiL just puts them straight head to head. And we have seen, like, it's not a foregone conclusion at the moment. The PWA boys are winning out. It's a windier side of the racing that we've seen, but the other Olympic boys, the standard Olympic boys, are still there. They're hanging on, and in this, you know, 12-man super final, there is no, all bets are off pretty much. All bets are off. And like I said, I'm super looking forward to it. So we're just hearing over the radio, we should be starting in about 10 minutes time. I'm just going to run you through a couple of results that we saw earlier. It will be no surprise to see Helena Neusman is leading the women's iQFOiling fleet. She has been in dominant form once again today, and she is sitting right at the top of the tree. But as we said, this is just a qualifying, and this will be hard to take. You know, if it was to go the wrong way in the final, something's to happen, she doesn't handle the pressure well, whatever it is, as a, you know, as someone who's done this format for so long, it might hurt. It might hurt, but it's going to take some getting used to from maybe the old yachties, the old sailing crew. I mean, me especially. But I like it. I feel like we're changing it up. There's not many sports in the world which have the viewing figures that do what we do, which is 7 days, 3-4 races a day, lots of discards. You know, you look at Formula One, it's one race. If you get taken out in the first corner, you're done. If you have engine failure, you are done. You know, they don't do 3 races a day for a week. You'd be a bit over it, I think.
Well, running laps at the same course gets a little boring. I suppose that's the beauty of what yacht racing is. We play with this invisible power, and we harness that wind, and we throw ourselves on the race course and compete with it. And well, that's the beauty of what we do.
I mean, everything has got its place. There's no doubt about it. There's no wrongs or rights, but I think the class, or I should say the IQ class, and the guys running it, the guys pushing it, obviously this man here next to me is probably one of the pushers in this, is to mix it up. Let's make it exciting. Let's get the viewing figures. Let's put it down to so people can actually understand it as well, because when you do all the racing in one day, whether it's the one race, whether it's the 3-race format, whether it's a short series of an hour and a half and short races, all this comes down to people sitting there and watching it all unfold in front of their very eyes. When you've got lots of different points coming into it and different weightings and qualifying series all in one go, it's quite a lot to take in.
Well, just look at it in a really simple manner. We engage with content so much differently than we did in the past. We're a scrolling nation. We're scrolling, we're looking for engaging content. That's what we're working on creating. We've got athletes, we've got equipment that works, we've got a sport that we love, and we want to take that to the fans. If we can engage with an exciting format of racing, and we don't want to sit down for an hour and a half of racing, we want to sit down for 10 minutes, see the action, see the winners, see the excitement, see the adrenaline, and there's certainly a bit of adrenaline coming off the water with these guys. That's the name of the game.
I could watch an hour and a half.
Well, of this stuff, geez, it's intense.
It's intense, isn't it? We've seen some good races this morning. We've got to talk about them. We've had a couple of standout riders so far in the slalom and in the course racing. So in the men's fleet, the yellow fleet has been dominated by Matteo Iachino. He's won all the slaloms and all the course racing. And in the blue fleet, it has been dominated by Sebastian Kördel. He has won all the slaloms, all the course racing, and we weren't expecting to see that, and I'm pretty sure those guys weren't expecting to do it. It has just fallen that way.
Well, not at all. The great thing right now is we've got the cut, gold, silver fleet, gold fleet. Those guys are going to go head to head. Who's going to be the top guy? Matteo Iachino?
Yeah, or Kördel. And we've seen obviously a Mado Vries fight really pushing hard. Kieran Padlow, he started off terribly with I've got to get this cleared up, OCS, so on course side. I was saying PMS yesterday, and I had a comment on YouTube and someone thought I was being sexist, saying something to do with the women PMS. But we're back in my day when we used to have start lines and you're over the line early. It was called a PMS, a premature start. But they've obviously changed the wording now, and I have to get with the times because I'm obviously old school. So yeah, I wasn't being sexist. It generally was a thing. So we just get that nice and cleared up. OCS, not
on
PMS.
Course side.
OCS. Okay. And then we also have a black flag rule, which is a BFD, I think. On the, so if you're looking at the results and you're seeing these abbreviations,
these codes,
you will know exactly what they mean.
DNC, DNF, and DFL. Do you know what a DFL is?
DF. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to discard.
No. Something last, dead, something last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or 2FL.
Okay, that's not so good then.
Yeah, that's a bad race. When you say you had a DFL, that's a shocker.
There is one though that you can't discard. What's that?
D&D.
D&D, okay. I know, like I said, it's been a long time since I did some racing, but I really think it's very, very exciting. The Olympic class, for me, windsurfing wise, hasn't been this exciting since I was doing it. No, I'm joking. Since Lechner.
Come on, take me back to the 80s. Let's go beyond that, right? Windsurfer class. How's the windsurfer class go right now?
This is the interesting thing. When windsurfer class first set up, it was modern with its time, was it?
Yeah, so
when Lechner class opened up, was it modern with its time?
Of course it was.
Okay, and then obviously over the years, new stuff comes out and it gets done, and then they have to do it again. So after Lechner, it was Mistral One
That's
Design.
Correct.
When it came out,
that was a race board class. That was a successful class, and they took the modern race board and turned it into a One Design class, which was the Mistral One Design. That's my era. That's your era.
Yeah. And then here comes the one that I think split a lot of people, because we were in between. The race board was still there. They just brought out Formula, and I think the Olympic Committee went, I think we'll do a bit of both.
Yeah,
I don't know what the decision
they
point
made
was.
a hybrid.
Yeah, and it's a hybrid.
What does the hybrid do? The best or the worst of everything.
And this was the problem. It went upwind with the dagger board, and it went downwind and upwind without the dagger board. But it didn't do either very well, and it hasn't really, what can I say, hasn't really excited the windsurfing nation.
It has not, but what the RSX did is it delivered an Olympic sport that was so dynamic and so physical, so difficult to sail, that we created some, some pretty dynamic and amazing athletes.
And I've got to say, just while Aaron's talking now, because I've got him, and before I forget, I read some statistics about the fitness of the RSX windsurfers in the Olympics, and it was up there with one of the most demanding sports in the Olympics.
Well, you've got a triathlete, right? And we always compare ourselves to triathletes because they're multidisciplinary, multi-sport, and our sport's quite dynamic. But they race for one day.
Yeah.
We race for 5. Day in, day out, the fatigue on the body, and what it comes down to is the body fatigues, and so does the mind. So the fitter you are, the sharper the mind is, the sharper the decisions you make. So there's no ceiling on fitness. That's where the sport went, and it became a truly Olympic sport. Over 5 days. You've got to be as strong on the last as you were on the first. So the RSX, we bag it, but it's a beautiful beast.
Yeah.
It's like wrestling a bear. Have you ever sailed one?
I've obviously said, have you ever wrestled a bear? I was about to say,
no. I wouldn't do either. But right now, everything's changed.
Yeah, and this is the exciting thing. Like I said, I'm not bagging the RSX, and especially for me, the RSX racers are some of the most underrated racers in the world within the windsurfing community, because I don't think they've had their fair share of coverage. Maybe I'm guilty of that. Maybe that is one of my guilty things. But
how about Windsurfing.TV sort of get to an RSX regatta? Did anyone invite you?
Never. Actually, you're right. No one ever invited me, but it's true. And I have a lot of respect for all the Olympic guys, and that's why I'm so passionate about this event, because we've got the two going head to head, and we are seeing, the RSX, old RSX guys beating the Pedalway guys, and the Pedalways coming back, and we're seeing a to-in and throw-in. And I am, like I said, we have got penultimate day of racing today. We've just gone into Goldfleet. It looks like they've gone on the water, so I'm guessing they have done the results. So I'm going to quickly try and refresh the browser to see if it's come up. We're going to do some Goldfleet racing. We've got a marathon planned for tomorrow morning, and after the marathon, split into top 12, 0 points. We all start again, and then it's like last man standing, basically. 4 get knocked out in the first race, we get down to 8. 4 get knocked out in the next race, we're down to 4, and then the last 4 fight it out for the medals. Yes. So no scores on my computer yet, but
the sailors know what's going on. They're on the water. They're warming up. They're prepping up. The breeze is on. We've got close to 20 knots, 22 knots. We are high. We do have altitude. We're 1,700 meters. The breeze is a bit softer, so while it looks windier, they can handle this breeze.
Totally.
The water's flat. It's high speed. We're going to see some crashes. I know it. There's going to be a lot of push out there.
It's going to be interesting. We have got the track. So if you don't know what the track is, that's a GPS system. All the riders will have a GPS on them. Sometimes some of them, for whatever reason, don't work, but it's pretty accurate. So if you go to track TRAC, I'll put it on the YouTube link just so people can follow it, and you can click on the race. But the track won't be ready until we get the results. I'm just hearing in my ear. And that makes a lot of sense. So we will have it as soon as that's all possible. We're going to talk about the standouts so far. Sebastian Kördel, Matteo Iachino. Those two now have not raced against each other. They've won every race between them, and they will go head to head in this. It's not to say they will win this race, because there's a lot more stuff. Now we've got a lot bigger start line with all the top riders. So instead of having, let's say, half the top riders in one fleet and half them in the other, they're now all in the same fleet. So that can prove difficult.
This is where the real racing starts. I've always said it, we're splitting the fleets. We're trying to have a decent seeding. You've got a chance to qualify, make the gold fleet, and that cut-off's pretty critical for some people, especially when they sit on the edge. But making the gold fleet for some is really important. But as I said before, this is where the real racing starts. At the end of the day, we're not going to have equal points.
No.
There's going to be someone's going to step out, and this is for a big play. European champion.
European champion in the first year of the IQ. iQFOiL, I should say. If you didn't tune in yesterday, I'm just looking down actually at the YouTube comments. Some people saying it's expensive. I've got a man sitting next to me who is took a bit of time out from windsurfing and did quite a bit of the America's Cup and some racing with the big boys. How does this price compare to sailing?
Well, we've got windsurfing as an Olympic sport. We've got windsurfing as, we've always been the poor cousin of the sailing classes. We've been more dynamic, we've been more spectacular, and we've been a whole lot cheaper. NACRA 17, 49er, 470, Star Class, you name it, they're big money boats. This equipment here, the same as a laser. The junior iQFOiL kit, the same as a Racing Optimist, give or take a little bit. You tell me, 4 knots or 24 knots?
I thought you were about to say, what would you rather sail, the laser or this? I think
I think it's an easy step, easy decision. So, as windsurfers, we might say it's expensive compared to windsurfers. Everything's getting more expensive. You stay in the sport, of course it's more expensive. But when you compare it for apples with pears, I'll take the apples, and they cost the same.
And also, you have to remember, this is now, the Olympic stuff. It should be one of the biggest adverts for windsurfing. This is what we should be using as an advert for windsurfing, and it's probably what has been used before. Maybe not done it justice for the average guy who's out there, playing around on the lake. They want to see planing, they want to see high speeds, they want to see action.
Well, let's talk about performance, It's a carbon board, it's carbon foil, carbon mast, carbon boom, lightweight, high performance. We could build that out of polyester, fiberglass, aluminium, and Dacron. Of course it's going to be cheap. It's not going to perform.
No.
And it's not going to last either. When you use high-tech materials, the product will last longer. And I know there's been a lot of work that's gone into this equipment to make it robust. These guys are going to push it, they're going to do the hours, they're going to make it, and they're going to break it. And so with that, there comes a little bit of a price. So it's a Formula One piece of equipment. And we've got to expect that, they don't do carbon away these days.
No, I've heard that. Okay, so it sounds like we are into the starting sequence. We got 3 minutes until the start. We've still got no results. We know who's at the top of the fleet, so hopefully that will get updated as soon as possible, because without the results, we can't have the track going, which is slightly concerning, but we'll do our best to bring you the live action. Who is out there watching? Nice jacket, I tell you what. Aaron's thinking that and they're sitting next to me. It is cranking, the wind is blowing straight in. We are sitting right on the beach here in Silvaplana Lake, and it is spectacular, but it's pretty nippy, I won't lie to you. It's pretty nippy.
Well, 2 hours ago it was hot as, and we were shorts and t-shirt. The breeze kicks in, the mountain air coming off the mountains, blowing down the lake. This is a thermal valley, and that's what produces the breeze here. Lake Silvaplana, what a place.
I've just heard I'm a salesman for Starboard. This is not a Starboard, it's a Starboard board at the moment, but it will be an open class, so other brands will be able to make exactly the same board. That's what went through, as far as I know, in the Olympic decision. So at the moment, obviously it's early days, everyone's on a Starboard, but I think within a year there's going to be other brands doing the same board. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but that is the plan.
Well, that was an important part of the FRAND and anti-monopoly. What happens if the Starboard factory burns down? We can't get gear. We need to go down the road. We're getting close to a start. I think we've got 1:21 to go. So we've got our drone in the air. We've got an overview. There's a lot of red sails out there.
There's a lot of red sails. There is a lot of red sails. We're lining up for the first Gold Fleet race of the IQ Europeans here at the ENGADINWIND, the Vanora ENGADINWIND by Dakine for the IQ European Championships. Like I say, it's the first ever competition on the iQFOiL, I guess, of this sort of nature. And this is the European Championship. So a win here will give you, the European title, no doubt about it.
That's correct. 43 seconds to go.
Oh, they're lining up, aren't they? There we go. You can see actually the yellow rash vest of Sebastian Kernel, the qualifier in the blue. Well, he won the qualifier in the blue fleet, and you can see he's still got that yellow rash vest on. We should see Matteo Iachino as well. with it. We've got 15 seconds to go. Lining up, we got Bruno, I think Martini going through with the Italian flag on there. We got Tack from the Netherlands up this end. And
he's been quick this day.
He's starting right on starboard. Oh, there's got to be a few people over then.
That looks early.
That's got to be a general, hasn't it? We're waiting to see. There we go. Kieran Padlow, really good start on this end on the Tulip on his sail. He's going to the Olympics for the Netherlands. And he is looking icky, means business there. Great start. Colombo from Switzerland, the local, as one of the British riders, tacks off already. And there go the French, the Israeli. They've already decided to go on that right-hand side, and there's a yellow kite, I think it is, in the middle of the course. Not the best position for a kite with the lines all coming out. Let's hopefully no one goes into that. But that looked close on the start, didn't it, from our angle?
That's really close. You know, I think our angle's a little bit out, but you know, these guys are pushing it, and as we'd expect, they'd be getting pretty close to the line. So a little bit of a bulge in the middle of the line by the looks of it, but as you can see, the guys have settled in there. Starting to see a few port tackers working out to the right-hand side of the course. There is a little geographical, a little bit extra pressure out on the right side of the course, but they do have to do an extra tack, and so that's the thing that's going to slow them down. Is the extra tack versus the favoured side of the course going to pay off?
I've always wondered, I see one of the British boys there holding the up all. What is that all about? I'm sure there's a few guys at home asking as well.
Oh, there's a few things there. You know, personally, I like hands on the boom. We've got a lot of breeze here. We're struggling to keep these things in control. So it does present the sail to the breeze a little bit more, gives the sail a little bit more upright. It does actually help lighter sailors a little bit.
Okay. Well, good to know, because I see it, and I've seen a lot of guys doing it over the years. Never known the exact reason for it, but it obviously seems to be working. So here we go. We're going up that first upwind. We still got no results, which means we've got no track. So we are blind, people. We get the pictures that you see on the TV. So we will be just going off that. Hopefully we've got the drone up in the sky. That big hammer. So hopefully the results will be updated. Come on, boys. Let's see it. No track at the moment.
We're about halfway up the beat here. There's a split from the fleet left and right. The guys that we've got being on a starboard tack start, we do have a flag that says you have to start on starboard. You can tack onto port straight away. That's a safety function that's been put in the sport. So a lot of boards pushing off to the left-hand side of the course, setting themselves up so they can actually lay through to the right-hand side of the course. And I talked about that just before. The early tackers trying to pick up the early right. The guys have gone a little bit further left, getting a little bit further up the coast so they can really tuck in and sort of minimise those tacks.
I was going to say, just looking at the screens now, it looks like the guys who went over to the left-hand side are crossing in front of the guys that have gone to the right. So it looks like that left-hand side has favoured so far. And you can see the yellow jersey of Sebastian Kördel with the German flag on his sail. He is looking in good form, and that looks like a Polish rider above him. Could be one of a few, but I would maybe guess at Matt Chetwickowski. He's been going really good in the qualifying. Looks like a French, so that could be Nico Goya just upwind of them. They are three top riders, and there we go. It looks like Sam Seals from the UK just flying in front of the camera. France 10 as well going past, but it is Kördel. I think that's Rakowski, and like I said, very hard to see, but Nico Goya would be a pretty solid guess if he's right up there at that first mark.
I did see Kieran Padlow. Here's my guy, a little bit further out on the left. He's gone a little bit further and stacked himself on the left-hand ley line. There is a little bit of left-hand shift in the top, especially when you come in on the ley line. Oh, it'd be interesting to see how it goes against the Pedo Bay boys. He's light. He's 75 kilos versus the 85, 90 kilos. So it makes a difference in these conditions.
What we want to do is get that windward mark into shot so we can see what they're heading for, and then just see the angles coming in, because it looks like the guys coming out of the left, they're pumping. That usually a sign that they're doing well, or it's going to be close. And there we go. Oh, there's a few pumps going on.
So you see the guys are not quite...
Oh, it's already gone round the top mark. That's what we want to see. That windward mark, someone just squeezing through. Looks like one of the British riders maybe difficult to see that flag playing games, but all through.
You can see how tight it is here. You got guys coming in on port and on tack. They have to give way. You've got the guys coming around on starboard, full speed, slow tack. It's stacked. Jesus, how close is that?
That is some tight racing. I've already seen 2 yellow jerseys right up the front. So it looks like Matteo Iachino is up there. Curdle is up there. They're round about the top 6 riders. Both riders are in it. So that's probably a good sign for them, and they're qualifying. But out in front, who is that? Is that France 3? Is that Thomas Goya? Looks like it might be. It could be France 7 though. He's been having some good races, hasn't he?
Yeah, Messin's he's been consistent the last couple of days here. He's one of the top French RSX sailors. Well, I suppose one of the underrated RSX sailors. He sits under the top 3 there, but he's been an up-and-comer for a while now. He's adapted the foil really quickly, which is great to see.
We are still waiting for those results. They've not been updated yet, which means no track. So we don't have any GPS. So we are literally seeing exactly what you are seeing. So if we can get some shots on the big camera down here, that is probably our best sign for getting the front runners and to give them a big shout out and tell you guys who it is. And there we go. That looks like it is Kieran Padlow, maybe leading the fleet at the moment.
Yeah, Kieran's a little bit further on the left-hand side there. Personally, I believe he's left a little bit of a door opening. He's going to be jibing soon. It does get soft on the left-hand side of the course.
It's Nico Goya. So Nico Goya from France. He won the Formula Foil World Championships last week, and he's looking in good form. The wind has picked up, and maybe Goya has found his groove again. He's been banging in the good results, but he's not been as dominant as he was in the Formula Foil World Championships last week. We've got Matteo Iachino, Sebastian Curdle coming down the middle. This is going to be a very close mark rounding down the bottom. We're going to have to stay on that buoy. When we go around that bottom buoy, let's stay there and watch the rest of the pack coming in, because it is going to be tight. We are going to have some real close battles. Nico Goya looks like he's going to go round first. He is. So let's stay on that buoy, guys. Let's stay there. So Goya round in first. Then we've got Thomas Goya, his brother in second. Maciej Rakowski, Sebastian Curdle. Then we've got Matteo Iachino. So good to see those rash vests. They just stand out so well. Then we got, I think, Sam Seals coming through with a red helmet. Good mark rounding from Sam. Then we've got Kieran Padlow coming through. We've got Michinsky. Then we've got Colombo. And as Alexander Kuzan has gone down and closed the door on Amado Vrieswijk, but Vrieswijk managed to go through. It's super close down the bottom end. Matthias Isaac from Brazil just coming round as well. Fernando from Spain, I think it is, as well. And then we've got a whole host of the rest of the crew coming through. I'm not even going to try and pick those out without a list. That's me done. So we are on with some super close racing, Aaron.
Well, that's just it. We've seen the top guys starting to step out a little bit, but look at how tight it is in the middle of the fleet there. You fight for every inch that's going on there. And we'll come back to the drone there.
Nicola has already a little advantage.
You can see the guys are working out the long port tack, obviously getting as close to the right-hand side of the course as they can.
That's a great angle from the drone. That's what we want to see. That's a beauty. We got Colombo from Switzerland, the local talent, and we've got Amado Vrieswijk sailing on the man next to me sail. That's Aaron McIntosh. Behind them, we've got Matthias Isaac. These guys are fighting in about 6th place or something like that, 6th or 7th. But we've got the front runners ahead of them, but that's the sort of angles we want to see. That's why we don't want the kites out there, and we need to start getting the air rifle out and doing some damage, because we've got a few kite riders at the top, which is stopping us getting these angles. And this is what I know you guys at home want to see. It's what we want to see, but we're forced to stay down the bottom end of the lake, so apologies for that. Hopefully we can bring you more angles. A couple of guys attacking off down the bottom end, but it looks like the front runners are banging that right-hand side, Aaron.
Yeah, that's very typical of Lake Silvaplana. This is the dominant extra pressure that they pick up out of the right-hand side, and a little bit of a shift. And you see the guys that are already tacked onto port tack, and we don't quite have it in shot there for you guys, but they're very high on port, now on starboard tack, and setting themselves up towards that top left-hand side of the course. That's the beauty of the lake here. You have boundaries and you can't hit the corners. It's not a one-tack beat. So this is the beauty of the yacht racing. You've got to judge when you're going to tack. You've got to prepare and expect the breeze. there are these geographical shifts that happen, but they're not always there, and that's the difference here. We've got RSX racers that are used to this real tactical game versus the PWA sailors that are very slalom orientated. So, well,
we'll have to see, but I can see the yellow rash fist from Sebastian Kördel is closing in, but it's Nico Goya out in the lead with quite a nice lead. He's not got the same angle as Kördel, so it depends where that windward mark is to whether it will make a difference, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have to put another tack in anyway, so we'll have to wait and see. There we go, first tack from Nico Goya onto port tack. He's going to pump to get away. He's going to cross in front. There's not much in it, but he's definitely got a lead, which he's going to protect that lead. I can't see anyone catching the Frenchman. Like I said, he's super inconsistent. Once he's up in the front, he very rarely lets a lead go. So we got Sebastian Kördel still in the mix. We got Matteo Iachino down on that far left-hand side with that other yellow rash vest. I'm loving the yellow rash vest. We need some pink ones and some blue ones, maybe. I don't know. Need some pretty bright colours to tell these guys apart, but looking good from Nico Goya. He's just coming into that mark on port tack, and he's going to be the first to go round. Then we've got Matteo Iachino coming through underneath, so he's got a bit of work to do. He's not going to win this one, that's for sure. Nicolas Goya is going to go round the windward mark in first place. Sebastian Kördel looks like he's going to go round in second. Yep. Good upwind. Sebastian Kördel sailing really well. It's the first time we've actually seen Matteo go against Kördel. And it looks like the big German. Round in second, Maciej Rakowski in third. But I tell you what, who's that coming in with a bit of speed? Thomas Goya, I think it is. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, it's Matteo Iachino, yellow rash vest. Then we've got Maciej Rakowski in fourth. And then it's pretty close. I think we've got Maczynski in there. And here was the guys that we saw got the beat. Amado Vrieswijk, Sam Seals with a good upwind. He's actually pulled out some ground there as Colombo just taxed from Switzerland. So really tight at the top as we go into this second downwind. Are you calling any position changes on this downwind, Aaron?
Well, I think it's the guys that, if I'm Nicola Goya and I'm out in front, I'm going to keep the guy between me and the mark, and that's just real simple. We know there's going to be a couple of jibes down there. Make sure they don't get caught in that soft spot on the left-hand side of the course. Try and pick up a little bit of that extra pressure on the right. So these guys have been racing here all week. They know what's happening. They know where to position themselves. So I don't think we'll see a lot. The guys are pushing with top end of the wind range. Or this is the most breeze we've had all week, especially in the iQFOiL class. Are we going to get some crashes? Well, I hope so. Maybe not at the front of the fleet. These guys are good.
Yeah, he's hectic in the middle. When we look from 15 to 35, 40, it is close. One tiny mistake, you can lose 20 places. But out in front, you can see the boys just jibing. Nico Goya leading it out. We've got Sebastian Kördel just jibing. Looks like Matteo Iachino on that shot that pulled up some ground on the rest of the fleet. We know how fast Matteo Iachino is. Obviously, vice world champion in the slalom last year. Nicolas Goya leading here in this iQFOiL. We used to see him on the Phantom gear. He actually won the PWA world title last year on the Gastra gear. He's pretty good on whatever gear he's on. He is a quick fella, and he is definitely looks like he's getting dialed in to the Olympic stuff right now. So Nicolas Goya trying to just pull this one round. He looks like he's got a fairly good lead. Sebastian Kördel in second place, no doubt about that. And then I'll tell you what, Matteo Iachino is catching up fast. Wouldn't surprise me if we see him third round this bottom mark, but let's keep an eye on that. Already jibing onto port tack, and he's coming in for the home straight. Nicolas Goya from France, looking like securing his first victory in the first Gulf Fleet race of this 2020 iQFOiL European Championships. It's not over though with the foil on the reach. There we go, Sebastian Kördel going around in second place, and it is Matteo Iachino. Flew down that downwind into third. Maciej Rakowski in fourth. Fifth place, it looks like Thomas Goya. And then we've got Kieran Padlow, I think it is, just coming through. Yeah, RSX world champion last two times world champion. So there we go. Let's have a look at this reach. See how the boys go. This is the last one. We obviously got the other guys coming through. It's going to get close, but Nicolas Goya has got a pretty much cruise down here. But with 20 knots of wind and a very lifty foil, it doesn't always go as planned. I've seen a few crashes on this last reach, but no, there we go. First Gulfleet win for Nicolas Goya. Second place is going to be Sebastian Kernel. Let's have a look at the fight for third and fourth and fifth, because it is on right now. It's super close. Matteo Iacchino is going to get that one, but it's close. Thomas Goya will get Matt Jerichowski right on the line. Oh, and Kieran Padlow's got the place to himself. Next one in. He's in the spot, obviously, with the tulip on his sail. Reigning RSX world champion. Obviously, that massive, well-known fight between him and double gold medalist Dorian van Nistelrooy. And then we've got Colombo. Gets a cheer from the crowds. Local boy will come in next. We've got Michinsky. Sam Seals is going to go ahead of Amada Vrieswijk. That's a good scalp. Vrieswijk been on real good form this week. And then it looks to me like Alexander Kuzan, is it? I can't see. And then we've got Tak as well from the Netherlands. Steve Allen coming through. And then we've got France 152. Arnoux, Mateus, Isaac and Fernando fighting out. It's going to be Fernando that's going to take Mateus. Then we got France 719, France 56. There's a lot of Frenchies, excuse me. And there we go. I'm going to let you just watch it on We just got Balls Muller coming in with the first wing push loop. There we go. We got Stoke all around it. We got the iQFOiL Europeans. We got Balls Muller, the crazy man that he is, has just pulled off his first wing push loop.
If I hadn't seen it, I would have believed it.
I tell you, it's been all over the internet. Kai Lenny, Jeremy, all these guys, and I think it's push balls to do it. So great to see the racing on the foil. The freestyle's been going off. What an amazing week so far.
Well, it's just been a foil fest here in England and Silvaplana, and that's pretty special to see. This event, 43 years old, and every year there's a different event comes to town. But this year, the Formula 4 Worlds and the IQ European Championships, just to name a few. Next week, the Swiss Championship. This event doesn't end.
I'm surprised the water's not worn out here. It gets a full shoeing, doesn't it? I mean, in the winter as well, they do all the winter stuff here. I mean,
I have been watching it. There is a river at the end of the lake, and there is a river at the top of the lake. So getting worn out, they're putting new stuff in every day.
Well, there we go. If you haven't tuned in and watched any of the racing, now you know what it's all about. The new Olympic discipline. Like I said, I had a few comments before. I know it's only a few, but he's selling this equipment. I'm just generally excited for windsurfing. I think, it needed to go in whatever the gear, whether it would have been neoprene, whether it had been Simmerstar, whether it had been Gastra, it doesn't matter. This is just talking about the actual gear they're using. It's high tech. It's all about the speed, the action, the tactics. It's all coming together in one class, and that's what makes me excited.
I think the great thing is it's almost like windsurfing's become cool again. I'm not saying they've lost it, but now it's cool in the Olympic class, and now it's cool in a racing class. We've got a racing class and a craft, let's call it, that the weekend warriors and the recreational guys can sail, and this equipment is not just for them. Yes, it's just a well-crafted piece of equipment that's easy to use, and I suppose that's the beauty of it, is it's easy to get into it and it's easy to go. All the testing, all the development, all these different products out there, and especially in the early days of foiling where it's very, very difficult to get going on something that just works, and that's the key. And
I mean, like I said, and you don't have to go out and buy this gear. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's so much more relatable now and exciting. You see the guys, I tell you, this is the best thing about this week is seeing the RSX guys coming off the water after slalom yesterday, maybe not getting their best result ever, but the smile and listening to them just genuinely buzzing with adrenaline going, oh my God, I have never felt like that before. That is just intense.
Well, 20 guys hitting the start line at 25 knots and charging and 15 knots of breeze, that's pretty exciting. Hitting the first mark with all of those guys as well, manoeuvring these, you know what it's like to just jive a normal board, jive a foil board. Yeah, these guys are getting good, right? They're getting their tricks down, they're driving like a standard board, but we've seen a few wobbles, we've seen a few falls, we've seen a few stacks. That's part of the game. We've been flat water here. let's throw a bit of sea state on top of that. It's going to go up another level.
And I've also got to say, I am a massive windsurfing fan, all disciplines, pretty much most water sports, but big windsurfing fan. And I am a massive fan of high wind slalom too. The problem is, we don't pick the Olympics on whether it's a good windsurfing high wind slalom event. I'd love to see high wind slalom in the Olympics, don't get me wrong, but we can't pick that equipment for the Olympic thing. We're going to harbours, we're going to lakes, we're going to random places. I mean, it's been in Beijing. I mean, you just can't do it. So that, if people are saying, why aren't they doing that? This is the one kit does all. I mean,
that's exactly it. I look at mountain biking, and we have mountain biking in the Olympic Games, but it's only cross country. Why can't we have downhill? Why can't we have freestyle? Why can't we have slopestyle? Hey, Nick Dempsey out there, little shout out. We're missing you here this week.
Nick Dempsey, there we go. Are we going to see him back on an Olympic equipment, or is he coaching now forever?
Nick Dempsey, I think he's shifted focus and he's in the coaching world. Certainly doing a great job there and enjoying it. I have seen him out on the foil. I have sailed with him on the foil. He's a big fan of this class. He's an RSX kid. He's been a Mistral boy. He's seen the evolution of the sport. He's pumped as well.
Yeah. Yes, we're on, boys. We're on. 45 seconds. What have we got? Is this the
Silverfleet? Silverfleet's up. This is
Silverados. I've won one of these before. I won't lie to you. It's never good, but if you're in it, you may as well win it. There's no point in crying over spilt milk. Maybe it went wrong. Maybe you didn't quite get it. Maybe you had a crash. Whatever. It's still, there's pride in winning this thing.
There's bragging rights winning the Silverfleet, that's for sure. It's disappointing to miss the cut, but the regatta goes on. You're fighting for places, you're fighting for positions. And
Premier League versus Championship, like in the football, you still got to win it and get promoted. You got to put the work in down below, and if you win the Silverfleet, there's no way you'd be last in the Gold Fleet. It kind of works like that.
Look at this though. This is the Silverfleet. Look at the level. Look at that start.
Get it on. So there we go. France 16. It's probably going to be a lot harder for me to call the names in this fleet without a track.
Nicolas Huguet there. That's one of the French coaches there. He's not a young fella out there. I know he's on holiday here. He was a top RSX sailor and a top Mistral sailor. He's back for more. He loves the sport, and the great thing is when you can do it, you can teach it, and that's a new sport. So the coaches are actually getting out there as well, and we're seeing a rejuvenated amount of interest going on from the sailors.
Well, that's the funny thing. I spoke to him the other day. Like, me and Nick go quite a long way back, and he's like, I was like, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I'm coaching, but I'm not coaching." So I thought I'd just come on holiday. He is here on holiday. He is actually not getting paid. He just came.
It's kind of like a working holiday.
Working holiday.
The guy loves his work.
He loves it.
The ultimate job, right?
I mean, that just goes to show how much passion and stuff goes into this. You don't work in windsurfing for the money, I'll tell you, but you do it for the passion. And when this is your holiday time and you come to Silvaplana to race with the boys, which is your job anyway, I think that says
That's
it all.
That's a win-win.
I think that says
Love
it all.
your job. Love your job.
I'm going to talk to you about pumping, because there's people saying stop pumping. There's a lot of guys in this fleet who are lighter guys. They come from an RSX background and they love pumping. It's almost ingrained into them. And if you pump with a foil upwind, you can gain more height. If you're bigger, in theory, you don't have to pump. You go faster. Talk to me about pumping with foil, Aaron.
Geez, pumping with foil.
Well, there you go, the Israeli boys. I told you, they love it. They do love it.
There's a classic example there. The gain is a VMG height gain, and that's what pumping in this class does. And the funny thing is, the classic saying when we got into the class, all these RSX guys started pumping. The guys are not used to pumping. The RSX, the PWA guys, it says you're ruining the sport. Now, valid point. I don't want, I'm a weekend warrior. I'm a coach. I'm there for the pure sport of it. This is what it is. It's taking it. It will take it to another level. If you can get around the race course faster by pumping, of course you're going to do it. It's Olympic sport. Of course you're going to pump. So right now we're seeing a VMG gain, which is velocity made good. That's getting you higher and closer to the top mark. That's the gain, and that's what these.
You got to use every tool in the shed. And if pumping's one of them tools, you use it when it's applicable. You don't want to pump all the way around the race course, but if it's going to make you get higher on the guy next to you, if it's going to give him dirty air maybe, and he might not make the mark, it's a bit dirty, but sometimes you've got to pull out those things.
Well, that's exactly it. Sometimes you've got to hold a lane, and if you're in dirty air and you have the opportunity to get out of it with a little bit of pumping, get yourself 1 or 2 lengths to windward, then you can hook in and go again and focus on your speed. That's a gain. You're not going to sit there in dirty air and just suffer that.
Look at that view though. I love that low view then, just seeing all the riders coming across. I know, speaking to a few of them this week, the crossing has been intense. So what I mean by crossing, you can see now, some guys are coming from the left, some guys are coming from the right. Anyone who doesn't race, if your left hand is at the front of the boom, you do not have right of way. If your right hand is at front of the boom, you have right of way, and you've got to then judge who is going to make who, and you have to decide whether you're going to dip someone, or you're going to pump, or you're going to make it in front of them, and it can be a bit close. And if you're not best of friends with the guy you're crossing, it can go Pete Tong. And yeah, I know he's a DJ, but I don't mean that.
I think what it is there's a little bit of give and take, and there's a lot of respect at the front of the fleet, and there is a little bit of give and take. But there's guys out there that don't give anything, and they take everything, and those are the guys who are, a little bit frustrating to race with at the front of the fleet. I know that. I know my guys have that. Certain cultures, that's just how they sail. That's how they've been taught. Take everything they can get. If I'm on starboard and there's an easy cross for a guy on port, I'm going to dip him. I'm going to, let him go, because I know that the next time I come back against him, I might need that extra meter. And that's the beauty of racing at the front of the fleet. There's a lot of respect. We know that we're sailing a high-speed sailing craft. Sometimes it's not possible to get out of the way. We're not fighting for every inch. We're actually fighting for valuable meters and making sure we don't kind of crash and get caught up in the small details. Oh,
that's not a good one, is it? When you miss it by that much, that slow couple double tack now is going to cost, but actually did pretty well to get back in that. This is going to be the hard bit for us here in the commentary booth, because we've not got a close camera. This isn't the Gold Fleet, so there's a lot of names and people who I won't recognise, but there's already some close stuff going on at that windward mark. It looks pretty hectic down there. I actually, just going back to your point before about give and take, I heard Kieran Padlow, Sam coming up and saying, cheers dude, I owe you one, because Kiro, dipped him by probably a tiny bit, but he knows.
Yeah, well, that's either a beer later, yeah. Or that's another cross when you come out. It might not be this regatta, it might be the next regatta. And
got to put a few in the bank, haven't you?
Well, to race at the front of the fleet's tight. To take the other guy out, and it just comes down to simple respect. Do you want to go to the room? No one wants to go to the room. Not in this game. We actually want to do our damage on the water, and sometimes you need to give a little bit.
Yeah, and again, the top guys probably have less of a problem. It's more, from what I've seen this week, not going to say 10, I'd say 15 and back. It is tense right there. It is tense.
Well, you can see it. You can see those top mark roundings. You can see those bottom mark roundings, and one slip up, you've lost 10 places. So, I think it's harder racing in the middle of the fleet.
I would agree with you. Like you say, one mistake, you're gone. Whereas the other guys have got a little bit of clearing room. One mistake, they might lose a place. Now, those guys are going for medals and qualifications. That one place can mean massive, massive differences. So it swings and roundabouts. But we've got the guys coming downwind now. I think there's a lot of people watching this who maybe have just tuned in, don't know what's happening. This is the iQFOiL for the guys who've already been in there saying, oh, yeah, we know, Ben, you've already said it a few times, but this is the new Olympic discipline. So this isn't the PBA, this is not this isn't the Formula Foil, this is the new Olympic discipline, and we have got this guaranteed for the next 4 years.
Well, it's actually going to Paris 2024 and it's LA 2028.
We've got it guaranteed for the next 8 years, and probably past that, but let's just say we've got 8 years of this class, so you're going to see a lot more of it. Okay, the results we're hearing are online, but they'll probably be out of date by now. But we do have some results, which I haven't got. Oh, it's typical. Well, there are some results online. They're just not on my computer, but hopefully you guys can see it. But we can't see around that bottom mark. Can we have the big cam down that bottom end just to see the guys coming through? This is a great angle for the spectating, but we don't know who's who. Germany, 434. We got Denmark. The Netherlands, we've got the Israelis going good. Like I said, we've got no list of anyone. I can see Polak there, Michael Polak, I think it was, with Nicolas Houget. We spot a few of you boys, so like I said, the more we go through this, but with 120 competitors, you're going to have to give me a bit of slack, because it's pretty hard. I'm trying to learn the top 60 at the moment. So
I think what you got to do is, Ben, you got to be at our next event, and part of our live show, This is what it's all about. We're high speed, high action. We've got a great number of people. Hey, we're watching this bottom mark rounding here. We're seeing you guys to the foil. We're not quite seeing the slick action of those PWA guys and the guys that have been on the foil. You know, there's a lot of progress to be made. There's a lot of training to be had, and just tidy yourself up around the race course. It's just the simple things, getting yourself around the race course. Right now we're seeing a big spread of the boards that are going high and the boards that are going low. This is just showing a little bit of a split in the ability in the silver fleet. If we were looking at this as the gold fleet, you'd see them stacked up a lot more in line with each other. But it's a new class. Some of these guys have only just got their equipment. Some people have chartered their equipment for the event, and well, they're learning and they're having fun. They've got a great 4 years ahead of them if the Olympics is that's the direction they're going to head. So
okay, so we've just pulled up a list. At least I've got a list of all the sailors now, which is more useful than we had before. But we've got a few guys coming through. Like I say, this is the IQ.
This is the second lap of the silver fleet here, and we're looking back down onto Silvaplana there. That's quite a nice shot there. We haven't seen that shot all day. Pretty little town, mountain town, and it's definitely one of the most exclusive skiing spots in Switzerland, we've been told. Again, we're looking at the competitors here pushing out to the right-hand side of the course. Everybody's been sailing here for the last 10 days. They've worked out there are some intricacies in the right-hand side of the course. It is a little bit of a one-way track. Everybody wants to get to the right, and there's quite a bit of port-hand sailing. So that's just the natural orientation of the lake and where the bottom mark is relative to the top mark. So ideally, we'd have the bottom mark right in front of us, just off the grandstand, and definitely the booth
Yeah,
here.
we've been pushing, haven't we? We've been pushing because I mean, there's obviously things people want different things. Media wants one thing, sailors want one thing, the race crew maybe want the other.
What do you want, Ben?
Oh, there's a buoy, and I'm not joking. It is literally next to us. It's downwind. It could be, and it's right next to the grandstand. Now I know the event organisers have been going, I want to use that as a leeward mark. We've been saying, I want to use that as a leeward mark, and I'm hopefully by tomorrow, maybe we've got our way.
Well, that's just it. We've got theatre style racing, we've got medal race finals, knockout series, and the action's going to be close to us. It's going to be a lot shorter course. There's going to be a lot more intensity going on. We've got 12 of the best. They're going to fight for the medals in a knockout series. Top 12 are going to go forward. The first race, the bottom 4 are going to drop out. It's an 8-man race 2. Half that, top 4 are going to advance to a knockout final. This hasn't been done before. Hasn't been done in the iQFOiL class. Something similar was tested in the RSX class, but it was not accepted at the time. Maybe they were a little bit too conservative in their thinking. Maybe it wasn't ready for the Olympic Games, but what do they say? If you want to predict the future, you've got to create it.
We're going to create it, come on. I've heard the Wolf is in the lead.
The Wolf.
The Wolf, the German Wolf. Yeah, Germany 404 is Fabian Wolf. So, Wolfie, come on, Wolfie. Good to see the Wolf up there.
I don't know the guy.
I've got to be honest, he's definitely he's obviously a new name to me, as I've only been doing the PWA. Oh, there we go. I think the Wolf is already round. That could be the Wolf. I didn't see his sail number, but it looks like a German flag. So one of the Germans is already down. Pretty sure Wolf is going. We haven't got.
He's got a nice lead there. He's got the whole extender leg or the offset mark there.
Got one of the Israeli boys as well going through. Could be Omar. He's a good sailor.
He's a great little sailor. He's been sailing really well on the RSX. He's a youth world champion. I know the Israeli team were late adopters and they weren't supporters of the iQFOiL class or the foil class going forward. I'm not sure their political standing, but right now we've seen a lot of young kids pretty stoked about the future, and they've got a lot to learn. But I know they weren't foiling 2 months ago, and look where they're at right now. They're in the thick of it.
Yeah, it's going to be a very steep learning curve. They're going to be learning stuff all the time, but the smile on the faces is definitely getting bigger, if nothing else. The adrenaline is pumping. This is the first Silver Fleet race of the IQ European Championships, the first event of this new Olympic class. We've got Wolf from Germany leading the way last time we looked, which is Germany 4:04. We think it was Omar up there from one of the Israeli guys, but I think there was a couple, so we'll bring you that. We got one of the Danish crew as well. Looks like he's going good. This could be a few of them, maybe Tambo or Dixon. There we go. There's the Wolf. Oh, oh, oh. Go on, Wolfie. Oh, don't worry, I won't do any more Wolf impressions.
Please don't, please don't. The sun's gone down here. Unfortunately, it's got a little cooler here. The breeze is still on. The water's still flat. It's interesting to see, Ben, you know. We've seen the top guys race, and I'm just taking a visual. I'm not looking at the GPS data, but I see a difference in speed. I see a difference in how hard the guys are pushing.
Yeah,
the PWA guys are pushing really hard, sending really hard. I'm seeing Mr. Wolf here, he's leading, but he's a little nervous. Yeah, he's not pushing in the same manner that the top guys are. So, top of the silver, top of the gold, there's a bit of a gap.
Yeah, well, we usually just see that, but I tell you what, he's leading by a good way, so he'll be pretty gutted that he's not in that gold fleet. We've got one of the Israeli crew in second. I think there's a French in third. We'll give you those sail numbers on the big cam. That big cam is our weapon. That's a great view from the camera. The problem is we don't see the numbers, so hopefully we've cut to the big cam and we can call it through. Wolf, a little bit of a wobble on the jibe, but the Wolf is round and on the home stretch. So one straight line to go before he secures that first win in the Silver Fleet. Who's going to be second round? Oh, it's not. Is that Hungary? Netherlands. One of the
Dutchman,
Dutch crew.
Yeah, Dutch.
And then it is Omar from Israel. Omar. Is that Dutch 25. So Netherlands 25 is Franken.
And Jan Poulin from France, number 16, he's pushing there. You can see these guys are a little bit out of control. I don't think they've pulled their L-haul on across this reach.
Dixon was looking a bit ropey there from Denmark. He was looking like he had a little bit of a moment.
Just hold here. This is where the excitement has. We've got the slightly less experienced guys. They're coming across, they're pushing. It's high speed. A little bit out of their wind range.
Bit of a Braveheart moment. Omar is having a good fight here with the Dutch fella. Here we go. It's gonna be the Dutch crew that's gonna take it though with Franken.
Floris Franken.
Omar in third. Then we've got France 16, which is just better check. Yeah. Poulin. And then we've got Dixon. I think it is from Denmark. Good show from him. And then we've got obviously the great British James Hatcher, Poland 42, which I think is Polak. Yeah, Michael Polak. And then we've got all the rest of the crew. Nicolas Houget coming through there.
He's had a good race, you know. He's a master. One of the masters. He's my age.
He's won a world title before, European title. He's won something.
He's won a European title. One of the top guys in the Mistral class. That was his forte. I do remember racing against Nicolas Houget in New Caledonia in the Trade With Trophy.
So, if you are just joining in, that was the Silver Fleet. So that is the second half of the main fleet. So it's the second tier, let's say. The Gold Fleet is the top riders in this field. But a really good show from the Silverados, as I like to call them.
Yeah. Well, takes one to know one, right?
Don't worry, I'm with the crew. I've been there, don't worry. No disrespect from me, that's for sure.
I've never been in the Silver Fleet, but
I'm not surprised.
They didn't have a cut back in my days. It was all in. I remember the days we were racing 130, 140 guys on one start line. Those days have changed.
I remember the Kielerbocker, dangerous place. Easy to end up in the Silver Fleet.
Please don't remind me of Kielwig. I think I've been here 3 times in my life. I vowed not to go back. Looks like I'm going back there next month.
Have you seen many bigger shifts? There's some.
Crikey, I've seen everything there.
There we go. So we're just getting the last of the crew over the line in this Silver Fleet, and then it looks like we're going to go straight back to men's Gold Fleet action. Oh yeah, we get the biggest boys in the world of windsurfing, from PWA Stardom to the RSX Olympic discipline. We've got Olympic hopefuls, because at the moment, obviously, we don't know where it stands. We don't know what is happening. It's all up in the air.
Well, that's exactly it. You know, this is a new class. We've got big sailors, small sailors. The RSX class has an average competitive body weight between 73 and 76 kilos. We have guys lighter than that, especially the Chinese, very dominant in the light ones. We have guys heavier than that, around 80 kilos, dominant in the heavy airs. And we see a lot of tall, skinny guys. Why are they tall and skinny? Because
5 minutes for the run, please.
Okay, so we've just heard the good news. The track is back on track. Yeah, so we do have the GPS tracking. We are going to be in there. So if you want to do that, I'll put the link on the YouTube channel right this second. Let me just quickly refresh. Men's Gold 2. We chuck it in, and we'll just chuck you the link. So you can follow it on the GPS if you like. We're obviously going to follow it with the cameras, but it's nice to have the tracking just to see who's gone where if we can't pick out everyone. And it's a very useful tool to have, especially with the course racing discipline. If you are just tuning in, it's not just about course racing. In the iQFOiL, there is a slalom discipline, which we did yesterday. There is a long distance marathon discipline as well. And there's this crazy Big Wednesday or Super Sunday. 12 people get cut off at the end, and only one of those 12 can win a medal, and it gets cut down to from 12 to 8, from 8 to 4, and then the last race is 4 guys and 4 girls on the water. Winner takes all. First across the line will be the European champion. Pretty exciting stuff.
It certainly is. That format has been a long time coming. It's a little controversial. Not everybody likes it. Not everybody wants to do it. But this is where we're at. We're inventing the future. We're creating a dynamic sport that's easy to follow. The race will be 6 to 8 minutes long. 4 guys, slightly shorter course. Well, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm interested. There we go. Right now, we've got race 2, Gold Fleet. This is the finals. We had the qualifying portion of the regatta. That finished this morning. The fleets were blue and yellow. Now they are gold and silver. The top half of the fleet, which I think is 62 men or something like that, racing it. Yesterday we saw the slalom, the top sailors, Matteo Kino, 2 bullets, Sebastian Cordell, 2 bullets. Qualifying this morning, 2 bullets apiece. They're both in separate races.
Killing it. They've been killing it.
First blood this afternoon. We saw the Formula 4 world champion.
Nico Goya.
He hasn't shown his, I suppose, his real pedigree. He's the first piece to take a race off those 2.
But he's done it at the right time. He's done it in the Gold Fleet, and that is kind of where it counts. But as we know, it's all about qualifying. Top 12. Just qualify. It isn't. You're not going to win yourself a medal until that last day, but you can lose yourself a medal, because if you're not in the top 12, you can't win a medal. So you have to be in the top 12. You can't take it easy, but you can't maybe push too hard, because PMS is.
PMS. Again, PMS.
OCS.
We're lining up, a minute 45 to go. This is race 2 of the Gold Fleet, iQFOiL Europeans, and the beautiful Silvaplana, and the Engadin Valley. First time here for me, Ben, and I'm impressed. This wind machine turns on between 12 and 1 every day, and what are we seeing today? Well, a little more than yesterday. Tomorrow, similar conditions. Does it get any better?
Well, I think tomorrow's going to be the one. Tomorrow, if you are going to tune in and watch any racing, I suggest you tune in for the first ever Big Wednesday for the iQFOiL.
Well, initially the format was Super Sunday. We've renamed it Big Wednesday. I know there's a few movies out there about the Big Wednesday. I think there's a surf movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this iQFOiL Europeans medal races, the Big Wednesday.
Okay,
53 seconds.
Just to give you an idea, going into this Gold Fleet, Sebastian Cordell, Matteo Kino were locked on 3 points each, 4 wins out of 4. Then we had Amado Vreeswijk on 7 points, Nicolas Goya, Maciej Bukowski, Nicolas Goya, Thomas Goya, Kieran Padlow, Adrian Mestra, Colombo, Alexander Kuzan, and Henry Bloodworth. Tom Squires. That's kind of your rough list of the guys that were doing well. Obviously, we got course racing. That was going into the Gold Fleet. The results are online now at the iQFOiL website, so you can check that out if you want to have a look down the list. Obviously, the last race is not on yet, as I just saw Sebastian Kördel go past us with 8 seconds to go. Where's he going, Aaron?
He's lining up for the boat end of the line there. He's going to come in a little bit behind, going to take the spot, and there he goes, pops through, a little bit of clear, a little bit of pumping.
There he is.
And just like that, a late run, time run for the boat end of the line. That's a great start.
He's getting done here, though. He's getting done here. Colombo has done him, and that's what we're talking about pumping. That is what we're talking about pumping. Colombo, the local Swiss rider, had just out-pointed him, and then it just meant Kördel just couldn't keep with him. He was climbing.
Well, what you're saying, you're through at about 20 seconds after the start there, and he's a local. We're racing at altitude. He's comfortable at altitude. He pushed a little harder there.
Well, I think, the thing is, Sebastian Kördel knew he is faster free and off. And Colombo knows that Kördl's faster than him, so he probably thought, I just need to stick him behind me, and then I've got all free air. He's got the starboard tack end, he's bossed that, and he can just concentrate on nice clean air in a good position. Colombo's going to be going good on this first upwind.
Well, I think that's just it. As soon as you get a little bit of a break, as soon as you actually have the control over a two-boat situation, that board, which you saw was Sebastian there, he had to tack away, he had to get clear air. Dirty air is about 100 metres a minute. So if Sebastian hadn't tacked away, and that was his own
He hasn't tacked, he's carried on.
He carried on?
Yeah, he just sailed straight downwind and just went for speed.
So that's a dangerous call. That's a dangerous call, but obviously...
Look how fast he is, though.
well, let's see how he fares. But initially, he gave away quite a bit to get that clear air. We know he has a low and a fast mode. Maybe he just realised he doesn't need a pump high. Yeah. He just needs to kind of put the bow down, send it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a look at the track at the moment. Looks like Matteo Iachino is looking good on the track. Nico Goya, which is pretty ominous. Maciej Rakowski's up there. We've got Machinsky. But we'll expect that to change a lot on these upwinds. To me, it looked like Kördel was looking pretty solid over on that left-hand side. I think Colombo, we're going to see him up there. Again, it's going to depend on shift. This time of day, the wind does go a little bit soft in parts of the course, and that can make a massive difference on these upwind legs. So it gets a lot more tactical. But you can see Kördel now, as that sort of GPS come in, Kördel has now gone into the lead on the track, and I think he has got some devastating board speed on the upwind, but he doesn't point as high as some of the riders.
Well, it's an interesting thing. We've all been talking about VMG height, and he's got a low fast mode, and that's something we haven't seen in the class yet. So he's a big guy, he knows the gear well, he's confident with his speed and put the bow down.
It's that crossing we're talking about. Guys coming from the left-hand side with the right hand at the front have right of way, so you have to time it. I mean, that's a really good angle, that low angle, actually. I really like to see that, really clear to see who's who. You can see Mateusz Isaac looking pretty okay there, just going past your screens. Brazil 7, I think that's either Maciej Rakowski maybe in the middle. We've got one of the GBI boys. Is that Tom Squires? Can't see from here. Kieran Padlow just going past. That's Steve Allen. At that top end, we've got Amado Vrieswijk. That's Miska from Poland. 160 is Bruno Martini. So we've got plenty of the boys all in the mix. But I don't think these boys are going to be leading. Have a quick look at the track just to see what they've got. They've got Nico Goya, they've got Maciej Rakowski right up there. We've got Matteo Iachino, Mateusz Isaac is in the mix on the track. It is Tom Squires from the UK looking good. Mishka, Steve Allen, Bloodworth as well from the UK, looking pretty solid. Kördel is in about 5th or 6th place on the track. There we go.
We're seeing those guys that have worked out to the left-hand side of the course. They've had one less tack to do. That's a big advantage in these conditions where the boards are going so quickly, the tack is down speed. It is, what do they say, 9 metres a second. And there's the first around.
That's Nico Goya first around, I'm pretty sure of it. I think it's Amado Vrieswijk in 2nd place. Then in 3rd place looks to me like Matteo Iachino. Then it looks like it could be the Polish rider, maybe Maciej Rakowski in the mix there. Then we've got Kördel just coming around now. super close. I'm going to say I'll get better confirmation of that on here. On the track, Tom Squires is up there, Steve Allen's up there. Nicholas Goya, there we go, it's carnage. Few guys have already had a collision.
Attack at the top. That's what the action's like. That's what it's
There's
like.
a bit of shouting in there. Oh,
There's some not very happy people there. Could be a protest at the end of the race.
Oh, there's a bit of hand fisting waving going on. I wonder who it is. This could be, I don't want to say it, Matthias Isaac's name hasn't moved for a bit. Maybe that, well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's just let it clear. But out in the lead, I'm pretty sure it is Nicholas Goya, followed by Matteo Iachino. Obviously, Sebastian Ködel's up there, the Marta Vrieswijk, as we said, Alexander Kuzan. We've got Tom Squires in the mix from the UK. Colombo is up there from the Swiss rider. So going from that starboard end, banging the left-hand side, right up into the trees, seemed to be a good tactic.
Well, I think that's what it is. It was that one less tack. And it's interesting, we've got Sebastian Ködel. He's up in the mix, but you saw how he got forced to sail a different mode that he wanted to do. He didn't quite have the clear air at the start. What we're seeing is when you start racing at the front of the fleet, every little thing counts. And we always talk about the start being so important in a race. And right now, that start has hindered him. Doesn't matter how fast he is, he's off the back a little bit. He's going to show his speed. He's going to get back into the race because that's what he's shown all week. But right now, this is his worst race to date.
Yeah, let's see where he is at the end of the race. It's not over yet.
Look, as I speak, I'm seeing him climb the rankings. That's how fast he's going at the moment.
Yeah, let's have a look though. So at the moment, out in the lead, it's Nicholas Goya again. He does seem to have got tuned into the gear. Whoever's in second place is absolutely flying. I just looked over the lake and saw the second place rider flying down that downwind. But it's going to be Nicholas Goya from France who goes round the bottom mark in first place. In second place, oh, look at him go. He wants this one. It's going to be Matteo Iachino from Italy in second. Third place. Oh, a little moment there from Thomas Goya in third. Then we've got Marta Vrieswijk coming through. We've got Maciej Rakowski followed by Ködel from Germany. Super tight. Super tight. Who's round in the blue helmet? Oh, he's a wide on. It's a wide one. That looks like Alexander Kuzan from France, sailing with a different sail. Then we got Colombo, the Swiss rider, followed by Tom Squires from the UK. And then we've got, is that Bloodworth? Then we've got Matthias Isaac, so it wasn't him who crashed. And then we got the first of the French boys just coming through. Solid racing there, a lot of French. I'm not even going to attempt to call those guys.
Nico Goya, you can see with the clear lead. Then behind another gap.
Finn Hawkins, I'm hearing, the young junior, is up in the mix. One of the Brits ran in 12th place, so good shout out to him.
That's great to see, right? This class was about inspiring the next generation, and we're already seeing them in the mix. We're already seeing them doing the work the last couple of months. Some of them have got their iQFOiL gear, got into it, got sailing. Some of them didn't even have it, some of them were foiling on other gear, and well, he's done a little bit of work. He's showing his class already. Boy's got a future.
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, it's early days, but really good to see. I'm loving this drone angle. This is the height we like to see, the drone angle. We get to see the lines. We get to see who has gone round that leeward mark and is pushing high. And then we get the other guys who are going off a little bit freer, but going faster. And it's, you know, if it's a shifty day, you want to be on the inside. Unless it goes the other way, then you want to be on the outside. It's tricky.
The interesting thing is we see these modes and the people that can sail, and the guys that are sailing high are generally the lighter guys. The guys that are sailing lower are the heavier guys. They can really put their load on, really power up and get over that front foil and generate that speed and that lift.
I've got to spare a spot on the track, Italy 160. That's Bruno Martini, and he is going very slowly downwind from pretty far back. I have a feeling there was a collision there.
That's not a good sign. That's how tight it is at the top. One mistake, one misreading, one misjudgment, and the converging speeds on these boards, you know, we're doing 18 knots, 20 knots upwind, converging speed, 40 knots, they can go ugly.
Yeah, it definitely can get ugly. But as we know, out in the lead at the moment, Nicolas Goya, Marta Vrieswijk up there, Matteo Iachino up there, Ködel, Kuzan, Rakowski, Colombo. All these boys are in the mix, and that is Amado Vrieswijk there with the New Zealand flag on his sail. Don't ask, he's borrowed Aaron McIntosh, the guy sitting next to me, his sail this week.
I'm such a nice guy. You break it, you own it. Simple as that.
Just looking up to see who is going to be first round. It would be a brave man to bet against Nicolas Goya going round the top mark on this second lap in first place, but you never know. But I'd pretty much be putting my life on
Goya, his dominant display last week in the Formula 4 class. It's taken him a couple of days. I know how he hasn't done that much time on the iQFOiL class. He's starting to dial it in. You're starting to see the pedigree of this sailor, that he can jump from one set of equipment to another. I know how much work he does on his the Phantom equipment. He's really got it tuned. He's really got it dialed in. He's spent a huge amount of work with the design team there, creating that equipment. Now he's been given something that's not his, and he's making it work. This guy knows what he's about. He's a foil king.
He knows what it's about, and he is super into the development and tweaking. And you got to be a bit of a tweaker. You got to be a bit of a tweaker. And he's already gone round. I'm pretty sure Matteo Iachino looks like he's going to go around in second place. So Nicolas Goya has nearly got a reach. Well, he has. He's got a whole reach on the second place rider, Matteo Iachino. So first and second wrapped up. Looks like Curdle's going to be going around in about fourth place. Just ahead of him, it looks like Thomas Goya, Nicolas Goya's brother. Then we've got maybe Amado Vrieswijk coming round. Where is Maciek Rakowski? Expect him round next. I think that is Maciek. Yeah, Maciek goes round in about sixth place. And then there's a good gap actually from the top boys to the next rider, which should be Colombo from Switzerland. I know he was in the mix.
It's interesting to see now. We're starting to get a little bit of a spread on the fleet here. You think the guys get a little bit tired? There's the fitter guys, the professional guys, a little bit fitter, a little bit stronger, hanging in there. Still, you know, we're only really on day 2 of the racing, but you know, these guys are pushing out the races and they're working hard.
It's going to be about a close shot then. Tom Squire's coming through, and there was a couple of French boys all coming in from the sides. Kieran Padlow was in that mix, Bloodworth, Tom Squires, Arnoux, Sam Seals, Jepson. They were all coming in at that mark then as we left them. So that's going to be an exciting battle for, you know, they're around the 10th spot. And they all make it. You know, this is the really exciting bit. You've got to be in the top 12 to make that medal cut. So the actual big battle for me is the 12th spot. You know, who is battling it out to get into number 12, number 11, number 10? 13th is going to feel pretty gutted.
Well, that's right. We're going to see some results come online a little bit later once these guys are through. We'll get a feel for who's performing. But tomorrow is the marathon. Now, we haven't heard the exact details of the marathon, but I know it's double points, the full fleet racing together again. This hasn't been done.
Well, that's scary, isn't it?
That is a little bit scary, and what it does, it really puts the cat amongst the pigeons. If you get a bad start, you've got 120 guys to fight through to get back. If you're Sebastian Curdle, Nicolas Goya, you've got a little bit of speed, you might get a bad start, they probably won't. They might get back to mid-fleet. That could be a telling part of who goes forward. All this good racing, all this consistency right now, they've got to prove themselves. Can they race in a big fleet? Can they perform in the marathon format? We will see.
Well, we will see. As Nicolas Goya is already round the last mark, as is Matteo Iachino. These two have got it wrapped up. Third place, Thomas Goya is going to have a real fight now. That's going to be a battle, cameraman. Check that out between the big German Sebastian Curdle and Thomas Goya. Thomas Goya obviously a bit smaller than Sebastian. Sebastian's got more weight, and that could be a real drag race. If I was a betting man, Sebastian Curdle might get my money, but we know Thomas Goya is no slouch on the reach. But keep your eye on that battle, guys, if you can. The winner is no doubt about it, Nicolas Goya. Second place is Matteo Iachino, and there's the fight already, and I have a feeling Sebastian Curdle has got it, hasn't he? He's already edged ahead. No, he's getting close to touching down. You touch down, he's putting it on. The smile says it all. The smile says it all. Sebastian Curdle comes back to third. Great race from the German. Thomas Goya will be happy with that. He's probably the smallest rider out of the top load, so a really good race from Thomas Goya. Amado Vrieswijk is next up, followed by Maciek Rakowski. And then there's quite a huge gap to the next rider. Then we may as well have a look down that leeward mark now if we can, guys. Big fight coming up with the next riders. Colombo again involved. Colombo's got some speed on this reach as he's just waxed Alexander Kuzan on the last one. And Kuzan puts his hand up like, oh my God, not again. I think it was that same battle, wasn't it? Last race.
I think he's seen that one go before.
Oh, here we go as well. This is Sam Seals getting loose. Sam Seals got loose then, but he takes down Mateus Isaac. We got Kieran Padlow just crossing the finish line now. Oh, it is a battle here with the French boys. Arnoux's in there, I think it is. And Squires, I didn't quite see. Bloodworth. Oh no, sorry, Arnoux's just gone through now. Yepson coming through. Andy Brown. Messes. Whoa, it's pretty frantic now at this time at this stage of it. We got Machinsky just coming through, just name checking a few that I can spot. We got Tack from Holland. Whoa! So there we go. How was that? And there we go out. We got. Just like I say, calling out a few there. Steve Allen going through. Stephen Van Broekhoven. We got Maxim coming through from Ukraine. Fernando.
I must admit, something went on that downwind. We missed a little bit. We saw Makia Aquino come right back at Nico Goya.
Close.
There was not a lot at the finish line. Boys are pushing. They're not accepting their place. They're pushing to the end. So Sebastian Kirtle, what he did to Thomas Goya there, the grin on his face. The boys are pushing. The boys are living on the edge. I think that's what it is. That little bit of adrenaline, that little bit of push, especially when you beat the other guy. There's a little fist pump, a little grin on your face.
Okay, so there we go. We've just heard it over the radio. Like always, we've got to go offline now. So that will be the last race we are going to cover today. So hopefully we're going to get a look at the women tomorrow, because Helena Neusman is absolutely destroying the field right now. She is absolutely killing it. Every race I have watched, she has been in the lead and looking so comfortable. So I hope we can give her some coverage and give her some shout out time, because she really thoroughly deserves it. But as we know, this is just a qualifier. The big day is tomorrow, Wednesday. Yes, big Wednesday. The top 12 after the marathon will be going to that super final, and that will decide it. So this is just a qualifier. But great racing from the guys, super entertaining, and I don't think we can ask for better conditions. So there you go. To stay up with the results, you can still follow the track and the results online. We will be back tomorrow. You going to join me?
Yeah, 3 o'clock, live again, medal race, Super Wednesday, Super Sunday, Big Wednesday, let's call it.
Yeah, I'm ready, I'm pumped. Join us tomorrow for more live action from the iQFOiL.